Hey, what do you know? This is the Melbourne Live Show, and thank you so much for being here. Tonight, it's a very, very late night, and there's good reason for that, right? So, there's always good reason for everything. Now, the reason why it is so late is because, I had a really, really long day, and I just wanted to get some sleep in. And so here I am. So in any case, just want to say that today it's a very special day for me. I am just glad to be here, and this whole thing just seemed unreal because I would not be able to imagine the kind of things that I will be doing, yeah, just 2 years ago. And I'm just grateful for this whole opportunity and this whole community that I get to serve. I think it's just just beyond my imagination itself. So in any case, thank you so much for watching, for being here. I Yeah. So today, what I want to talk about, it's really the whole idea of how would you know if your your newsletter, for example, is it going to be profitable, right? So, I mean, I want to say that at the end of the day, what we're doing here is to is for the purpose of our business, and it's not just for funds and giggles. It's really to be able to establish something and then to be able to do it for our business itself. So, yeah, so the question really is, how can we be, what exactly can we do so that we can be profitable, right? And so the key idea here really is, to be able to ask ourselves a series of questions, and this questions itself will then help reveal if this whole process will be profitable or not. Okay, so with that um, done, let's dive deep into the question itself. So the first question you want to ask yourself as you're going through this process really is the following. You want to ask yourself, why is it that these people find the information to be valuable? Now, this question, it sounds really obvious, and to a certain extent, it sounds like you know that it's kind of a given. But the truth of the matter here is that when you are really looking at this whole idea of um, the newsletter, you really want to dive deep and to say that why do these people find it valuable? So to answer that question really is that yes, they find it valuable because it helped them solve a problem. And if you dive deep into it, you ask yourself the next question like, okay, so what problem does it solve? And and that leads you to another answer, right? And that helps you to be able to determine if this thing is something that is worth your while. So let me give you an example here. The newsletter I'm starting, it's about this one person, 1 million all digital business. So that's the premise of it, right? That is the key premise of what we're looking at. Now, if that is going to be the focus, then what kind of information would people need? And so that's why I break it down into three broad category. And category number one essentially talks about the mental model. So the mental model that is needed in order for people to start this whole thing about, um, you know, one person, 1 million, all digital business. That's the premise of it. Is there a specific mental model that people would need, or is it something that is more, generic in nature? So I believe that there has to be a specific mental model that people have to embrace in order to be able to even get started on this journey itself, right? So that then the second part is that um, I, I, I want to share about the idea of the various business models. So you can get, that's why it's important to emphasize on these three parts: 1%, 1 million, or digital, right? So if it's just 1%, 1 million, then the business model I think will be quite broad because there are things that you can do to achieve that 1 million by just having one person do it, right? And so that's absolutely feasible and possible. Now, but when we add in the last part, which is all digital, then the range or the scope of businesses that you can look at shrink dramatically. And so it's just a few categories that we can look at. Of course, if you think out of the box itself, we do not quite confine ourselves with just what you see here on the internet. So that it's something that I want to, caution you here. And then, of course, the last one is that it's this area on the revenue model. So the revenue model essentially is saying how are we going to be making money? What are the three key things that we need to look at, right? So I go into the assets, I go into the automation, I go into the acceleration. So these are the three key things that we would want to be looking at itself. So once we have that all, you know, uh, uh, I identify, we say that well, people need this, because they need to have the right mindset. If they do not have the right mindset, then they are not going to succeed. They need a business model. They need to know how to do it, how to get there, what vehicle to use. And then lastly, how to charge and what to charge, for example. That would be the revenue model. So that would be question number one, right? Why is it that these people would find it valuable? Now, the second part is very closely linked to the first part. The second question is, you know, what kind of a benefit, what ultimate benefit does it bring? So for me, really, it's looking at the effect of the outcome. So the question you want to ask yourself is, so what if they have this 1%, 1 million, or digital business? What is that going to do for them, right? And so the effect of this outcome really we are looking at it's what I call lift freedom, right? Location, intellectual, financial. Actually, it's the main thing why we are working towards. And why do we want that freedom? It's because we want to be able to do whatever we want with whoever we want to for as long as we want to, right? So that is the key idea. So I want to be able to continue to make an impact on people. I want to be able to help people, teach people how to create this 1%, 1 million, all digital. I still want to be able to do training from time to time. So this whole approach itself really enable me to do all that, right? So that actually is the key driving force behind it. And of course, I want to be able to be there with my family when it's I'm needed. So so those are the key things that you can possibly be looking at, right? So what is the ultimate freedom? Now, the last question is going to be crucial because the last question is going to be really touching on the ability to turn this into a business because for all you know, they may find it valuable, they may have an ultimate benefit out of this, but they're not willing to pay, right? So if you're not willing to pay, then there's going to be a problem. So in the catalytic course that I am conducting, I would actually dive deep into how do we find out if people want to pay, right? What are some of the things? What are some of the strategies? What are some of the tactics? What are some of the platforms that you can look at to help you determine if people would pay for what you are creating? And that's crucial because, like I said, we're here to do a business. We're not here for, I'm here not because I want to be famous on YouTube. I mean, that is secondary, but the primary mode here is that I want to be able to build this community, right? I want to be able to share what I have done and what I have built, and as well as what I am building with my community. And when I get this incredible honor to serve this community itself, I'm able to get people to rethink and to really reinvent themselves. This, to me, this is the best work ever. And of course, once I I am able to do all this itself, this is really what it means by live freedom. All right. So you got a question? Please feel free to leave your questions in the comments. I read every single comment that you send. And so if there is a question, I'll be more than happy to answer your question itself. And and if you find that this series it's useful, please consider subscribing because tomorrow we will be talking about tomorrow we'll be talking about understanding your audience, where you're gonna find them and all that good stuff, right? So if you're just wondering, today is my birthday. Okay, so I will chat with you again, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.